Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Just 4 words and you know exactly who we were talking about. That's the Marvel that is Robert Downey Jr. Even without the suit, without his many roles, he's a force to be reckoned with whether you use the title RDJ or just plain old Iron Man. But just the name Jr. begs the existence of a senior Robert Downey Sr. Well, today Senior will be the show's star. First off, let's talk about Papa Downey and his documentary. We don't know if you guys have heard, but for the past 3 years, our favorite RDJ has been working on a documentary that honors his late father, Robert Downey Sr. He passed from the effects of Parkinson's in July 2021, but his son has been working hard to immortalize the legend in the way they know best. The Netflix documentary on the acclaimed filmmaker makes its way towards us, and after the trailer that's been released, well, we've been a mess of all the emotions ever since. While Robert Downey Jr. is well known worldwide for his performances as Sherlock Holmes, Tony Stark/Iron Man, and the legendary time he spent in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, many people are unaware of his father. We don't know what to tell you, but Robert Downey Sr. was also an actor. Yep, you heard that right, but that's not all. That man was a legend in his might, an actor and a filmmaker who produced some masterpieces that weren't only good, but also way ahead of their time. His skill? Well, the Senior was a countercultural filmmaker that included scripting and helming the 1969 underground picture Putney Swope. That film put him on the map, as they say, and then the man was unstoppable. Now let's dig a little deeper into the documentary. The Iron Man actor spent a few final years of his father's life working with him on the documentary. Now, more than a year after the passing of Downey Sr., Netflix has unveiled the first trailer for the release of Senior. The question remains, what can we expect from this father-son duo? Besides portraying the filmmaker's life and career, including the final weeks before his passing, the movie is centered on the father-son relationship. It also features several well-known individuals who have gathered to pay tribute to Robert John Downey Sr., the man's a Hollywood legend after all. And the upcoming Netflix documentary Senior seems to be a fitting tribute to the filmmaker's life and work as a rebel in the industry. The documentary will seek to honor his way of life, which inspired future generations of independent filmmakers, even as its primary focus is on the close but complex relationship between the two Downeys. Now, if we were to let you in on a secret, we expect nothing less than an emotional and insightful experience when Senior releases on December 2nd on Netflix. Next, let's talk about some of his work, shall we? Let's start with The Hit from Downey Sr., a renowned underground filmmaker that made him oh so well known during the 1960s. Well, the movie Putney Swope was a courageous parody of everything from the Madison Avenue advertising business to the representation of race in Hollywood, movies to corporate corruption. Sounds powerful, doesn't it? Many filmmakers like Paul Thomas Anderson, who takes part in the Senior documentary, have named Putney Swope a major influence. Afterward, the filmmaker created anti-establishment and countercultural comedies that were exemplary, and we didn't expect anything else either. Downey Sr. continued to produce independent films throughout the 1970s on a tight budget in keeping with the underground tradition, and don't take us lightly when we say that his work left a mark. The films of Jim Jarmusch and, to a lesser extent, Anderson were among the decade's worth of independent counterculture filmmaking influenced by his works and a fiery spirit to stand out. Apart from his groundbreaking anti-establishment movies, Downey Sr. is most remembered for his appearances in Boogie Nights, Magnolia, and To Live and Die in Los Angeles. Quite the rap sheet, isn't it? Rittenhouse Square, a documentary he made in 2005, was his final work as a director, and he last featured on screen as Judge Ramos in the 2011 film Tower Heist. And now, we'll see him once more in Senior. Now, let's shed some light on the relationship we might witness. We already know that the Avengers Endgame actor focuses the camera on his relationship with his father as he has Parkinson's disease in the film, presenting a much more sensitive side of one of the most well-known actors in history. According to the narrative, the movie fully honors Senior's non-linear outlaw life approach, even documenting his decision to embark on his parallel and final film project. In July 2021, Downey Sr. passed away at 85, and his son wrote in a photo post honoring him on Instagram, saying that last night, Dad departed quietly in his sleep after years of bearing the devastation of Parkinson's. Part of what Downey Jr. said about his father was that he was a true maverick filmmaker and remained incredibly hopeful throughout. Rest in power, sir. Coming up, we can't ignore the ones working behind the cameras now, can we? The director of the documentary, Chris Smith, was given some serious advice by the Senior Downey. As he put it, quote, "Trust anything and anything can happen." The production, which had its world premiere at the Telluride Film Festival, was gained by Netflix after Smith referred to those words as his guiding light. great. Chris stated in a statement that it's truly the only way for you to even attempt to create something on the two Downeys by knowing what I know today. According to him, it was such a wonderful and life-affirming opportunity to capture glimpses of the highs, lows, and everything in between. Their work can only be described as larger than life, but open and honest as ever. The film explores human subjects like fatherhood, generational pain, creativity, and morality, and the rest you'll find out when Senior will debut on Netflix. Now that we've talked about RDJ's father, let's talk about his kids. We'll soon see what kind of a dad Robert had, but now let's look at his children and perhaps find out what kind of dad Iron Man is. We want to know, does RDJ get it from his papa? Well, for starters, the actor has 3 children from both of his marriages, whose ages range from 8 to 29. Robert wed Deborah Falconer, his first wife, in 1992, but by the mid-1990s, his career was suffering due to addiction. While he soon became sober in 2003 and revived his career, he could not do the same for his marriage, and it ended in divorce in 2004. And through Deborah, Rob had his first son. Coming up, let's talk about Indio Falconer Downey. In September 1993, Robert's first wife gave birth to Indio, who's now 29 years old. While you may know of him, you may not know that Indio, the lone child born to Robert and Deborah, has dabbled in the entertainment industry. Yep, he appeared in the 2005 film Kiss Kiss Bang Bang starring his father, in which he played a younger version of Harry Lockhart. According to his IMDb, he also contributed some music to the 2013 movie Jackie. And that's not all. Rumor has it Indio plays guitar and sings in the hard rock group The Dose. He even has a feature in Saline, the group's debut album, which was released in 2019. Alright Indio, we see you, and we're excited to see what you bring us next. Now we have Exton Elias. You've never heard of that name, have you? Don't worry, there's a story behind it. Robert's second son was born to Susan, his second wife, in February of 2012. Shortly after his son's birth, the celebrity made a brief visit on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno and had a fun chat. He explained at the time that the name was derived from the great uncle of his bride. We found out via People that according to Downey, his wife's great uncle Joe didn't like that he didn't have a middle name, so he changed his name to Jay Exton, and now the name must live on. Lastly, let's talk about the baby girl, Avery Roll Downey. In November 2014, Susan gave birth to Avery Roll, his only daughter. The actor was ecstatic to announce the birth of his lil baby girl. Spoiler alert, it's hilarious. RDJ, in true RDJ fashion, took to Facebook and announced it as if it were a movie. He wrote that Team Downey is happy to introduce its 2014 fall/winter project after 9 months of development. The principal photography started between 11 and 14, and it will continue until she says, "Dad, you're embarrassing me. I'm 30. This must end." That's not all though. According to Bustle, Avery's second name is also a touching homage to both of her grandparents. It appears that Susan and Robert's parents' first 2 letters are incorporated into the name Roll, Robert, and Rosie. How cute is that? That's a wrap. Let us know in the comments what you expect from the upcoming film Senior. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you at the next one.